Brilliant. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our first official Feel Good Friday. And this is, I don't know what the view out of your window on this wet, windy August Friday morning, but I know that with what George and Emma have planned, we're going to be bringing at least a rainbow to your next 30 minutes. So like I say, welcome to this session. It's a very informal session. There will be bits where I think Emma might ask us to mute or to turn our microphones on. So I will let her hold the mic literally and metaphorically on that. But this is a 30 minutes for you. This is a 30-minute of a dose of community of our happiness chemicals. So I hope you enjoy this session as much as I'm looking forward to it, and how much I've enjoyed trying to pull this together. We're going to be respectful of everyone's time. The session is scheduled to end at 10:30, but if anybody would like to stay on the call longer than that to ask questions to me or to George or to Emma, please feel free to do so. So I'm now going to hand over to George. I met George about 3 years ago via social media. We talk so much negatively about social platforms and how disruptive they can be in their lives. But when I launched HappyMaven, it was the generosity and support of strangers, and that is what George was at that time, that really kept me going and motivated, that the work that I was trying to do, that I wasn't a lone ship. There were other people building community, building culture, supporting well-being. And ever since I very first met George, I've been awed by his work, but I have had this ever-present fear that at some point I'm going to have to sing. So I'm just glad that we're doing it today via technology and that I can use my mute button. So George, I'd like you to introduce yourself and to share, I don't know, some of your inspirational journey to launching OnSong, and what is it that you do with OnSong?
There we go, unmuted. Line of 2020, you're on mute. Thank you, Suki, for that lovely introduction. Thank you all for joining us here today. It's lovely to see you all on this wet and blustery August Friday morning. My name is George. I'm the co-founder of OnSong, and we support mental health and well-being in organisations big and small around the country, and to a certain extent around the world, enabled through technology in the last 18 months. So a little snippet of my background. I come from a very musical family. My mother's grandfather, Michael Barn, my great-grandfather, was the navigator and the ship's musician on the Discovery, which went on the first voyage to the Antarctic with Scott and Shackleton. And he played the concertina. He was the ship's musician, played the concertina through those long, dark nights iced in on the Ross ice shelf. And believe it or not, my mother still plays that accordion, that concertina. So my background is as a curator and a producer working in the arts and cultural sector, and indeed as a touring musician. And so I've been hugely beneficial in having lived experience of the benefit of music for bringing people together and for supporting their psychological and physiological health. So alongside my long-term collaborator and sparring partner and co-founder Greg, we recognized a need to create OnSong to be able to share the benefits of music to more people. We felt that there was a kind of perceived high barrier to entry, in that a lot of people feel that they wish they'd spent more time learning instruments as a child, and that they feel that it's very hard for them to participate in music, which is a real shame, when actually this really isn't the case. Singing is like the kind of musical common denominator that we can all engage in. Much easier to open your voice and sing together than to all pick up violins at the same time, for example. However, lack of confidence is a bit of a thing. 80%, this is a quote that I pull out fairly regularly, is that 80% of adults have been told at some stage that they can't sing, which is, hugely damaging. And yet less than 1% are scientifically, technically tone deaf. Now, quick straw poll. How many people here think that they fit into that 1% who are tone deaf? This is the point. Well, at least 2 hands. Okay, well, there's 3 hands. Well, this is the point where I say, statistically, looking about you, that is unlikely. And our mission really is to help people to find their voice and to feel that sense of confidence in what they do. This is what I think of as a fictitious confidence gap. So our approach encompasses three different strands: technology, helping to teach, helping to inspire, helping to engage; repertoire, because let's face it, the world is full of amazing music; and our amazing team of leaders who are based all around the country. Emma, who you will meet in a moment, often not from more traditional kind of didactic choir teaching backgrounds, but more from performance, people who can really hold a stage and really make you feel like you want to partake. So we run choirs, we run singing workshops. We were very fortunate in a time of Corona, which was obviously very difficult for what we do. We were supported by the Arts Council and the DCMS in a Cultural Recovery Fund grant, which gave us the opportunity to develop HUM, moving from a B2B into a B2C, with a remit to combat social isolation and to enable cultural enrichment through online sessions. And we're just wrapping that up at the moment, creating a big report about our findings along the way. So that's a little bit about who we are and what we do. But obviously, rather than tell you about what we do, we thought we were going to demonstrate to give you a little flavor of the experience. So here with me today is the wonderful Emma Coleman, one of our most fabulous facilitators. We obviously do come from a musical background. And so rather than a kind of silent, muted welcome to the stage, we're going to take this as a stage. So I'd like you to all unmute yourself and give a big round of applause and a big cheer to Emma Coleman.
I'll join in as well. Why not? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's stay unmuted, but please don't worry. Any kind of invitations unmuted will be kind of all together making sound, and there won't be any exposed voices. So we're going to begin with a bit of a warm up, and then we're going to get into kind of making some sounds. There might be a little bit of silliness. Hopefully you're feeling all right with the people in the room to kind of, make a little bit of a fool of yourself just a little bit, and then we'll get on to kind of making some music, and we'll get on to singing a song at the end. So if there are any nerves in the room, we're just going to start by shaking our hands and just shaking that out. If you're thinking, oh God, I've never done anything like this before, oh, what's gonna happen? So a bit of a shake of the hands. Oh, and just a few deeper breaths as well. And yeah, I like that, Alina. Just kind of have a little bit of a shake up or to the sky, a little bit of a shake to the side, a little bit of a shake to the other side, a little bit of a shake down to the ground, a little bit of a shimmy of the shoulders, perhaps bringing that shake a little gently into your spine. And if you're very welcome, by the way, to stand up. I'm standing, I think Suki is, but you're also welcome to be seated as well. Oh, lovely. Just take a little moment. Oh, maybe that was Jazz coming. There's a little bit of feedback. Oh, well, now, I don't know if it happens to you, but when someone yawns and then you just kind of want to yawn as well. So we're just all going to take a nice big stretch, and I'd love to hear you all in a big majestic yawn. Here we go. And we're just going to do that one more time, because I think you can do it better, actually. Can we try one more time? Here we go, all the way up to the sky, a little bit louder, a little bit prouder. Oh, very nice. A little bit of a roll of the shoulders. A little bit of a roll of the shoulders all the way up to your ears and back, like you've got 2 clocks on either side, and you're going forward 9 o'clock up to 12 o'clock, back to 3 o'clock and down to 6. And you might want to go forward as well. There we go. Very, very nice. we're going to make a few silly sounds just to kind of get into making sound together. So we're going to first start with the sound of a snake. Can you take a deep breath? And please, with your hand as well, you can just find your inner little snake. Here we go. Here we go. Lovely. You're fantastic. Now we're going to find our inner librarian and we're going to go. Are you ready? Inhale. Lovely. We're going to find our tiny motorbike. Did you get the memo about the motorbikes? Please find them and we're going to go like this. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Very, very nice. And the final one is we're just going to become a little NutriBullet blender. So we're just going to kind of jiggle again and we're going to go. Zzz. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You look great. Zzz. Thank you very much. Okay, you're welcome to mute yourselves now. That was lovely to hear you all a little bit in the room. And we're going to kind of rub our tummy and we're going to go, We're going to find our little baby and go, oh. Look at this fireworks outside. Ooh, ah. Shout over to someone in the space. Can you say, cooey? Have a little like choose someone. Is it Julie? Is it Alice? Say, oh, cooey, hiya. Very nice. Great. Okay, and now we're going to find a little bit of a pulse. So whether it's in your toes or in your kind of, I don't know, in your shoulders a little bit, just have a little bounce to the pulse. So here we go. We're gonna do a little call and response. Here we go. Ho, way, you. Ho, way, me. Ho, way, you. Ho, way, ho, you. Ho, and you. If anyone's wondering what the neighbors are thinking, just never mind about them right now. This is just for you. They're going to love it. Do you know what? One of my favorite things actually is hearing someone singing when they're walking down the street or hearing someone singing in the shower. It's great. Here we go again. Louder. Hey, 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 you. Go. Hey, 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 and hey, 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 and big breath. Woo! You. Woo! Nice. We're going to learn a little song now that we've warmed up a little bit. It's a lullaby. So remember that we just kind of gave a little coo to our little baby. It's a little lullaby. It's only got a few words. It's from, I think it's from Ethiopia. And the words are Sule, O Sule Mama. Can you just say that? Get that into your mouths. Sule, O Sule Mama. And Sule is this kind of soothing sound for the baby. And it goes like this. I'll just sing it and then you can have a little listen. Sule, O Sule Mama, Sule, O Su. 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 So it's very repetitive, kind of same thing, almost exactly the same, but the ending at the first one goes up and then it goes down. So repeat after me, have a little listen. Sule, O Sule Mama, Sule, O Su. Can you try? Sule, O Sule Mama, Sule, O Su. Me. Sule, O Sule Mama, Sule, O Su. You. Sule, O Sule Mama, Sule, O Su. Great. Me. Sule, oh sule, mama, sule, oh su. You. Sule, oh sule, mama, sule, oh su. Me. Sule, oh sule, mama, sule, oh su. You. Sule, oh sule, mama, sule, oh su. Lovely. And then there's a second part. We're going to hear it with some other voices. That's going to be our final little bit. The second part is Mama Sule Osu. Mama Sule Osu. Do you want to try? Mama Sule Osu. Mama Sule Osu. And then the final bit. Mama Sule Osu, Mama Sule Osu. So again, very similar. It goes up and then it goes down. All of that together. Do you want to join in when you kind of have a listen and join when you like? 1, 2, so the mama bit. Mama Sule Osu, Mama Sule Osu, Mama Sule Osu, Mama Sule Osu. All together is Sule Osule, Mama Sule Osu. Join in when you've got it and just have a listen, and join in when you have. Sule Osule, Mama Sule Osu. Sule Osule, Mama Sule Osu. Sule Osule, Mama Sule Osu. Up. Mama Sule Osu. Mama Sule Osu. Mama Sule Osu. Mama Sule Osu. Very nice. Have a little roll of the shoulders sometimes when you get a little bit thinky. And that is 20 past. So that's we've just sang that lovely song together, and maybe we don't quite have time to hear it with the other voices. I'm happy to stop there, and if you wanted to hear that with the other voices, we can as well. But that was,
I would love to hear it with the voices, Emma.
Have
let's do a quick one round so we can hear the harmonies on it.
It's really nice. Okay, here it is. It might be slightly. Okay, let's join in. Sule Osule, Mama Sule Osu. Breathe. Sule Osule, Mama Sule Osu. Sule Osule, Mama Sule Osu. Sing with me. Mama Sule Osu. Mama Sule Osu. Mama Sule Osu. Mama Sule Osu. One more time. Sule Osule, Mama Sule Osu. 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 Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Emma. Let's have a little round of applause, a little unmute and a round of applause for Emma for leading us through our places.
That was lovely. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for diving in. That was lovely.
Thank you so much. So before we go into some questions, I'll just have a little bit more delving into to what this means in the application in terms of, particularly in terms of the corporate environment. So one of the changes obviously brought about through the pandemic is the issue of an inability to switch off. We've all seen the statistics of up to 25% increase in the working week. And another, the fact that we don't have commutes anymore a lot of the time, especially over the last 18 months, I think it's been a big thing in giving people that space to switch off, which they haven't had recently. And what creative practices like singing offer is a way to very effectively disengage the brain. Creativity kind of requires a concentration that is very much akin to meditation. Now, taking the example of what we've just experienced together, singing, we all take it for granted. We open our mouths, a sound come out. We don't necessarily always like the sound that comes out, but it just happens. But actually, what was happening there, we were in a flow state. We were in a state where we were managing a very complex process. We were juggling pitch and tempo, rhythm, dynamics. We were following what Emma was doing on the screen. And that puts us in that state of flow. And that means it's very difficult in that moment to think about, you know, the email that we haven't responded to or the Slack channel that's been pinging us all morning. It's also important that often when we're engaging in these creative practices, we're not focusing on outcomes. And a lot of our work day to day at work is outcome focused. It's task based and outcome focused. When actually within this creative practice, it's much more about the freedom of expression. We're also, you know, as we talked about at the beginning, this idea of comfort zones, stretching comfort zones, and it's a fertile space from going from, oh my gosh, I can't sing, to having a group who are singing together in glorious harmony. That arc is a very fertile space with which we work. And it requires an element of openness and honesty and vulnerability. You know, we talk about one of our earlier choirs, we had the admin assistant newly appointed helping the CFO with her alto part. And this is the kind of effect of flattening the hierarchies and temporarily suspending the work relations, which can be hugely beneficial. We've also got the left and right hemispheres of our brain, the left being much more work focused and analytical, and the right being the much more creative side. And people who engage regularly in creative practice, people who play instruments or paint or sing, it creates better connectivity between the two sides of our brain. And this can help improve our cognitive function and indeed make us work better. Now, obviously with the link, there is a strong link to between creativity and well-being. And the main drivers of well-being we recognize as being belonging, being heard, having a sense of achievement, and the feeling of having meaning and purpose. And singing, as we've experienced, or lots of different other creative practices, can all be seen to support these four aspects of well-being really strongly. You know, being involved in a group, having a sense of identity and belonging, in terms of the expression of ourselves, literally through our voice, but also in terms of what we're creating. And then that amazing sense of achievement is really powerful and is a real driver of well-being. So I'm aware of the time, and I was going to leave you with a quote that I heard someone say the other day, which really stuck with me. And this obviously feeds into the wonderful work that HappyMaven do. But in terms of the link between well-being and creativity, the quote that I heard was, "Bad well-being is the silent killer of creativity." I thought that was quite an interesting line.
I love that, George. Thank you. Emma, I have got to say thank you so much. The melody that you chose and the exercise that you took us through, I feel like I've just lived what George said. I was in flow, I was fully present, and I've still got goosebumps, and I don't know how you did that to me in 10 minutes. I'm thinking that there's some witchcraft or something going on there. I've got a million questions, but I can ask them on my own dime. I'd like to open up to everybody on the call. Any observations, thoughts, questions?
The observation for me, so I started today feeling quite exhausted. It's been a long week, and just sort of like going, oh, okay, I just need to make it through today. So this has been just lifted me from that. So thank you very much, because I didn't know what I hadn't actually realized what I was going to be doing in this session. So it was a bit of a shock. Once I got past the terror of the thought of singing, it was lovely, and it really did help my brain switch off and give it some space, which I very much appreciated and very much needed. So thank you for that. yeah, loved it. I work in mental well-being as well, part of the time, so it's lovely to think about different tools you can use to help people.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you for your words, Alison. Yeah, I mean, it is very powerful. Often, you know, there's a reluctance that sometimes people have, or that we won't even tell people what's going to happen at the beginning of a session if we're working with a large group. But it doesn't take very long for people to suddenly feel really, really engaged and really connected. Yeah, in terms of, I mean, obviously the experience in real life is a different experience in its own right. But yeah, it really helps us to feel grounded and to feel connected. And in essence, that's the thing that we set out to try and share. And I'm glad that it resonated this morning.
And George, if somebody wants to implement this within their workplace, where would you suggest that they start, and how do you get the naysayers, the me's of the world, involved?
Well, often it's a case of getting people just to have a go. Often we will incorporate a session into, a wellbeing calendar, or be it, a big a conference or a work event or something where you kind of have everyone together in a big plenary session or in a big part of a big meeting, and introduce it that way. I mean, we talk about the barriers and people not feeling that confident. There is also the fact that more people sing as part of a group in the UK than play football on a weekly basis. So we're not talking about this like wacky niche activity, which we're really trying to strong arm people into. There is a huge appetite out there, and a lot of people are really keen to sing just for the sake of singing, never mind because, it's supporting my well-being and all these kinds of things. So often, often it's good to have, internal advocates, people who are really keen on the idea initially. And then it's about just getting people having a go, getting people having a go, getting people to experience it, and to see what it's like, and then taking it from there.
I love that. I'm conscious of time. I will be sharing George's and OnSong's contact details for anybody eager to explore more. But George, I understand you've got some summer sessions on. If anybody on the call is like I am, quite energized now and ready to commit to something.
So we've been kind of having these sessions following on from the hum sessions that we ran over lockdown. And we have a summer session on the 16th of August at 7 p.m, which is free to attend. And that will be with the wonderful Kevin, live from Chew Magna, which is not far at all from where Alison is, I believe.
Fabulous. Well, thank you, George. Thank you so much, Emma. I think we overuse the word transformational, but something happened to me in the middle of that session. And even if you'd asked me to come off mute, I think I might have done. And that's really saying something. So thank you, George. Thank you, Emma. Thank you all for carving out this 30 minutes on your wet, dreary, busy Friday morning. We will be sharing the contact details and a little summary of today's session. It'll probably go out on Monday, and we look forward to seeing you next month for our next Feel Good Friday. Thank you all very much, and have a lovely weekend when you get to it. Bye.
Bye.